Olá, pessoas da internet. Agora vai rolar o painel sobre derrubando os mitos do Instagram, o que todo mundo quer saber sobre a plataforma. De acordo com o próprio Instagram, estamos aqui com Charles Porch, e ele é o VP Global de Parcerias do Instagram, e ele está aí cedendo o seu tempo, seu precioso tempo, para poder esclarecer as dúvidas que todo mundo tem sobre o Instagram e não tinha para quem perguntar. Hi, Charles. Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really sad that we're not together in person because Brazil is one of my favorite places. I want to be in Sao Paulo having churrascaria right now, like having like a really good steak and maybe a caipirosca. I don't know, something. Maybe tonight I will take myself out for some Brazilian food. But it's really a pleasure to be here. It's so nice to meet you. I've heard incredible things about you, about your Instagram account, and I'm excited to talk. This is going to be fun.
Bom, vamos começar então com uma pergunta que eu acho que é o que todo mundo quer saber, que é como consegue ter, como alguém faz, né, como um criador de conteúdo faz para ter uma conta verificada? Essa é uma das dúvidas que eu acho que eu mais recebo, todo mundo quer saber como ter o verificado. Muita gente, na minha visão, acredita que número de seguidores tem uma relação para ganhar o verificado, sim, mas eu pessoalmente não acho que é um fator decisivo. Eu já vi várias contas ali de atletas, jornalistas, de músicos, que muitas vezes têm até menos de 1.000 seguidores e são verificados. Então, eu queria saber de você, Charles, o que realmente faz uma conta ser verificado? E se caso essa pessoa for negado, o que ela deve fazer, né, para completar os requisitos? E tem diferença também em criadores e empresas, né? Como uma empresa, um pequeno negócio, por exemplo, poderia conseguir a verificação.
Yeah, of course. So I am not shocked that this is the first question because I get asked this maybe 100 times a day. It is the most popular question in the world. And I'm happy to answer and actually also give you a little bit of history because I am the old man of Instagram, the grandfather. I have been there for years and years. So I was actually on the team and one of the first people to really push to have verification on Instagram. Because what was happening way back in the day, what, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years ago, it was like this amazing time and all these really big celebrities were joining Instagram. But I don't know if you remember early on Instagram, they didn't use their real names. So, like, at Rihanna was not Rihanna. Rihanna was at Bad Gal Riri. And we found that like people were really confused on finding the real account. So we thought, okay, we need to have verification so people can find the real account as quickly as possible and know that it's authentic. So we started there. And then when we expanded from there, we had to figure out rules that worked for everyone, right? Because not everyone's Rihanna. Some people have a small business, some people have a nonprofit. Maybe you're a politician and you are the mayor of a smaller town, but you still need to know that that's the real mayor, even if there's only a few thousand followers. So that is why it's not based on follower count, because we want people to find the real account. So it's not based on follower count. What it is based on is really how you're notable, the kind of press coverage you get. And what happens when you submit for verification is that we have a team that goes through all of that. In fact, you can actually include articles about yourself in order for us to best find the notability and then get you to the verification. Anyone can apply for verification. You do it in your settings on your account. So don't go through anything else. Use those settings. Don't click on a DM that says click on the link and we'll get you verified. That's not us. It's not Instagram. Please be careful. Just use it in the settings and then fill it out. If you don't go through the first time, you can reapply every 6 weeks. So you can go back. Maybe you have more press and you can add it in there and just keep going back. And then that'll get you to the verification. We're always expanding the kind of press that's in there. So there's always more opportunity and keep coming back from that. And then, you made a joke earlier. We were chatting before the panel that, just DM Charles and he'll fix it. Unfortunately, I do not have that power. I wish I did. I would fix it for everybody. But really, the settings is the best place to do it.
E agora, já que a gente bateu aí no famoso verificado, um outro mito aí que é muito famoso é o tal do shadow ban. A primeira vez que vocês falaram oficialmente sobre o termo, né, vocês nunca tinham citado antes shadow ban, foi na época do Black Lives Matter, onde vocês, inclusive, prometeram lá num artigo publicado no blog do Instagram que vocês iriam aumentar a transparência de como a plataforma funcionava, mas o mito do shadow ban ainda continua. Então, aproveitando que eu estou aqui tendo a oportunidade de falar com você, eu queria saber, cara, o shadow ban existe mesmo? Como ele funciona? E o que faz uma conta ter o alcance reduzido, né?
I'm so glad you asked this. And once again, I'm not surprised because it's the second most popular question that I get is around shadow banning. And at a high level, I think people use shadow ban as a blanket term to talk about a lot of experiences that they're having on Instagram. But what I dilute it to, like the one main thing that I think people, are focused on is how many people are seeing the posts that they put out there on Instagram, and why might something they post one day get a lot more engagement than something they post another day. And really, the way I think about this and look at this is that there are tons of people on Instagram. There is a ton, billions of people on Instagram. There's a ton of content on Instagram, and there's just no way that we could guarantee that everyone was going to see everything. It's just not possible. So the way I look at this is how good is the content and how are you doing with your strategy? That's one side of it. I kind of think about it like going to the gym, which is something I have not done very much during COVID, sadly. So I've got to deal with it. But, you have a goal at the gym. Your body's like not going to like turn just like that overnight, maybe, and you're going to have some days where it's great and you did a really good job. And some days, they're more, normal, maybe not as great as other days, but you're still building to the same goal. So I think you really want to focus on, your authenticity, your strategy, regular posting so that you can keep building there. And I think that's really important. Then there's a second piece to this is around the kind of content that people post and if it might not really fit our guidelines, right? So a lot of people get extra distribution from unconnected spaces like Explore. That's really the biggest one, right? So when you or I go to Explore, we're going there to be inspired, see things that we don't follow, see something new and be entertained. And because people didn't choose to follow that content, because there's people under 18, there's people from all sorts of countries, we're a bit more careful about what we surface there. So if you're posting a ton of nudity or maybe promoting tobacco use or vaping, that kind of stuff might not show up there as much, and you probably aren't going to get the same amount of distribution as you normally would. Now, our mission on all of this is to be as transparent as possible, and we need to keep doing a better job in order to do that. So you talked about the blog posts that we did around the BLM movement. That was a start. We also have a lot of tutorials on our @creators account. So if you don't follow @creators, be sure to do it because there's a lot of really helpful content and myth busting there. And then the last thing we're really working on is maybe in-product notifications so you can have a better understanding on if someone posts something that goes against our guidelines or that might not show up in Explore or even gets fully taken down. You have a better understanding of that and understand like why that content isn't getting seen. So it's a work in progress. We're working very hard on it, and you're going to see a lot more in that space.
I always send people to follow up creators. I always.
Great. Well, thank you for that because we love that account, and it's like the team behind it does a great job. And there's so many creators that are interviewed on there who have really good tips. So if you're a creator watching this and you want advice, it's a great place to do that.
Então, eu queria perguntar, já que eu estou aqui com você, Charles, se você acha que ainda tem espaço para crescer no Instagram e se existe algum guideline, alguma coisa que a pessoa tem que fazer, você pode recomendar, tipo, existe isso de, tem que fazer X posts por semana, tantos stories, existe um guideline para crescer, para quem está começando, assim, qual que é a sua recomendação pessoal sobre isso também, né? O que é a sua visão?
There is such a need for new creators in the world, and there's honestly no better time, I think, to be a new creator in this world. I mean, look at the time we're living in. We've really seen the shift from the power of institutions to the power of individuals. I mean, creators are leading the way. The creator economy is the conversation almost everywhere, especially just in the tech world. But we're seeing it with brands. We're seeing it in so many places. And I think there's huge opportunity for new creators because you need that next generation that is going to come up with the content, the formats, the brands that I think the next generation of people coming onto social media are really going to be interested in. So there's absolutely tons of room for that. And it's a particular passion of mine. I always say to the team, like, I want to be focusing on the next generation of creators just as much as we're focusing on the established generation of creators. Now, there isn't one magical equation. So I know everyone wants me to say, 6 times a day at 6:25 a.m. Paris time, and it's going to be perfect. That's not how it works, sadly. But there are a ton of basics that you really want to think about. So the first is, and people use this word so much, but I feel like it's used a lot because it works. The authenticity of who you are is the place to start. I think that is the expectation. That is what people are used to. It's not necessarily about like that perfect post anymore. It's really about who are you authentically? How can people connect with you? That's the first piece. I think the second piece is, how do you create a specific brand? Like, what is your purpose? What is the hook to who you are as a creator? Are you a food creator? Are you into beauty? Is the account about your parrot who is going to go viral because it sings or dances or does whatever it is? You want to have that hook. And then I would say you need to use all the products. So it's kind of like a store. I picture it like a shelves, and you want to stock the shelves. So you want to have your great photos on feed. You want to have the behind the scenes on stories. You want to maybe have kind of your dance content or challenge content on reels. Maybe you want to do some lives once in a while to find a new way to connect with your audience. And you want to play with that and grow that and make sure you're using all the options and ways to connect with your fans. And then beyond that, like, experiment, adapt, see what works, what people engage with, what people don't engage with, and then grow from there. And ideally, you end up as this hyper successful creator with great brand deals, and maybe you're even your own beauty line or whatever it might be. Like, our goal is for you to be able to reach that with our tools. And there's a whole new generation of creators coming onto Instagram now that are going to do that. And it's super exciting.
Não sei se vocês viram, o Instagram anunciou que não vai ter mais o arrasta para cima, né? O arrasta para cima, assim, cara, arrasta para cima tá na cultura popular. Eu não sei como é nos Estados Unidos, as pessoas falam muito swipe up, mas aqui no Brasil todo mundo fala, pô, arrasta para cima, arrasta para cima. É uma frase clássica. E agora o Instagram, vocês anunciaram, né, que vai ser substituído arrasta para cima pela feature do sticker no Stories de link. Então eu queria saber, cara, por que vocês estão indo para esse caminho? Eu queria ter mais informações do porquê trocar o arrasta para cima pelo sticker de link, já que o arrasta para cima é uma marca registrada do Instagram já, né?
It's amazing to see and hear what like a cultural phenomenon like swipe up has become in the world. Because once again, I'll take you back. Remember, Instagram grandpa. To the early discussions on this, we were looking for a light and easy way to build a way for creators to share. Because what was happening is we started to see creators maybe start a t-shirt line, or maybe they wanted to support a nonprofit and help people donate around a natural disaster. And there really was no easy way to do that. And so we built Swipe Up really quickly and put it out into the world. and it worked really well, which is great. Creators loved it. Now Stories has really evolved. It's a much bigger platform, etc. And if you think about Stories, it's really a platform for stickers because you have music stickers, you have stickers for days of the week, you're putting GIFs on top of your stories. And we wanted to align that experience and do the same thing with links. And so what's good about it is you can place it wherever you want, you can change the size, you can format it just to make it a bit cleaner. And then the other thing that I like about it is with Swipe Up, you couldn't comment on a story or start a DM on that story. And with the link sticker, it's way more interactive because you can actually respond to the story and start a discussion around that. So it's new. Give it a try. I've been testing it for a little while and have liked it. And we're excited to see what happens with it.
De fato, eu acho que eu percebo, né, que o Instagram está migrando cada vez mais para os stickers, e o que você falou, quando eu perguntei para minha base de seguidores o que as pessoas acharam sobre a mudança, muitos não gostaram ainda, mas muitos também não testaram, né, a percepção atual deles, mas os comentários positivos mais frequentes de quem gostou foi a possibilidade, de fato, de poder comentar que não podia antes, né? Bom, eu não sei ainda, eu estou meio indeciso se eu gosto ou não do sticker link, mas eu vou dar uma chance. Vamos ver, né? Vamos ver, mas interessante ver a visão de vocês de cada vez mais migrar para os stickers.
Yeah, and I think, the interactions wasn't the number one driving factor. It's just a nice, I think, byproduct of it that I really love with the feature, but it really is kind of a design and format piece. That's how it started. And then there's a couple of pluses that come with it, like the engagement piece, which I think is going to be cool because, listen, if you're linking out to something, you can get feedback right away. Maybe your followers will tell you how much they love it, that they already got it, etc. So it could lead to some really cool interactions around, products, things you're selling, etc. So let's see what happens.
Bom, é isso. Vamos esperar, então, para ver como vai ser aí o arrasta para cima. Mas uma outra pergunta que todo mundo quer saber sobre monetização, né? Monetização. O Brasil é um dos maiores mercados do Instagram e não sei se todo mundo sabe, mas o Reels foi lançado primeiro aqui no Brasil, como cenas. Então, eu acho muito massa, né? O Instagram lançar uma feature na magnitude do Reels primeiro no Brasil, mas o meu questionamento é o seguinte: o Reels foi lançado primeiro aqui, mas na hora que saiu a monetização, saiu primeiro nos Estados Unidos, né? Inclusive lá tem o Reels Summer e tal, e o Brasil está de fora por enquanto. Eu queria saber se tem alguma previsão do Reels Summer vir para o Brasil e monetização em geral, né? Porque tem alguns programas de monetização que já tem lá fora, mas que não estão aqui no Brasil ainda, como o Creator Shop, que o Instagram falou que vai ter como criadores serem afiliados. Tem várias novidades que já saíram lá fora, não saíram aqui ainda. Então, eu queria saber, no geral, assim, sobre monetização, o que você pode falar para mim, para a galera que está assistindo aqui, o que a gente pode esperar de monetização?
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, we're getting this question a lot too. And, we want Instagram to be the best place for creators to build their business, no matter where you are on your creator journey. If you're really just starting out and just growing, all the way to the superstar creators who are running huge businesses already, like, we want to have the best suite of tools for that. And we're making a huge investment. So Facebook Inc. as a company is going to spend $1 billion on creators by the end of 2022, which is super exciting. So as you know, some things have come to Brazil. First of all, we tested Reels in Brazil. I love testing in Brazil because Brazilians are such early adopters, such great users of social media and technology, and you can always really get a sense of how people are going to use things and how things are going to go. So thank you, everyone in Brazil, for being
Brazil.
And so, as you know, in Brazil, there's a few products to help monetize, right? There's the branded content product, so you can, partner with a company, and that's the golden goose. I want you to make all your brand deal money. That's important. We also have, shopping. We have, you can tag shoppable posts. So if you have something to sell, that's yours. You can tag it in the posts. And then, of course, we have badges and live, which, there was a program around that recently, which I think was really popular and people really liked. So all that's awesome. We're also testing a whole bunch of other things in the US. You mentioned the affiliates link where you can get a piece of, something that you help sell on Instagram. We have the Real Summer program, which was super popular here. I think a lot of creators liked it. We're revisiting it to see what else we can do with that. We have IGTV, ad rev share, which started in the US. We just expanded it to the United Kingdom and Australia. More is going to come. We want to do way more. What I will say is that, and this is the boring part, being able to do payments in other countries with other tax laws and currencies, it gets really complicated really fast, and it just takes a little bit longer to build it. So we're working hard, but it's just taking a little bit of time. So stay tuned for more of that. And then what I will say, I'll do one big plug because we have, I think we're just announcing it today. There's going to be a Creator Week in Brazil in October. We're going to open the registration today, and there's going to be all sorts of sessions. Some of the myths we talked about. There's going to be sessions on monetization. It's going to be really good. It's 2 days in October. So I'll encourage everyone to go see that too, because I think everyone's going to have a million questions about monetization, how they can do it, how they can get in on the programs, and there are going to be a lot more answers at that week too.
O Charles falou agora do Creators Week. Eu já estava sabendo, estou me sentindo muito especial aqui, o Instagram me notou. Então, gente, vamos participar todo mundo aí depois do Creators Week, que vai ser bem massa. Então, estou esperando, vai ser em outubro aqui, então vamos participar. Vai ser online, então todo mundo vai poder participar. Gente, eu tô me sentindo muito representado estar aqui. O Instagram Brasil me notou. Então, agora que ele explicou sobre a monetização, bom, fico feliz de saber que não somos esquecidos, e sim que tem alguns problemas ali de pagamento, e pior que isso é verdade mesmo. Eu já vi tenho amigos, né, que trabalham em empresas internacionais, e é realmente muito difícil pagar para o Brasil, mas como já teve o Marcos de Selo, já é um bom caminho. Estou esperando, aguardando ansiosamente pelas outras coisas de monetização que vão surgir. E na outra ponta, como a gente falou aqui de monetização, né, que é o Instagram pagando para você, tem outra ponta também que é, você pode comprar anúncios de Instagram, você pode fazer ads, e o Instagram lá tem lá, botão promover, tem também outras formas de gerador de anúncios e tal. E muitos criadores aqui no Brasil têm uma dúvida, que eles têm um medo de promover. Tem muito medo de promover uma postagem, porque existe o mito aqui no Brasil, né, muitos criadores, né, têm medo de promover, porque eles acham que se ele pagar uma vez, é como se abrisse um portal que fala assim, pô, esse criador tem dinheiro, então eu vou tirar dinheiro dele sempre. Agora que ele pagou, eu só vou diminuir o alcance dele para que ele só consiga ter mais alcance pagando, né? E muitos criadores deixam de promover postagens por causa disso. Às vezes, quando uma marca se contrata um publi e tem que promover, o criador tem receio, né? Porque ele acha que vai perder alcance. Eu, particularmente, não concordo com essas afirmações, até porque eu faço anúncio, eu acredito pra caramba na plataforma de anúncio, mas acredite, cara, é uma dúvida muito, muito recorrente dos criadores do Brasil. Então, fale aí você, que a gente quer ouvir de você, explica aí, é mito ou não é?
This one is absolutely not true. I can cut through that right away. That is not happening. Listen, Instagram ads are amazing. Even I'm always like, wow, like every product that comes through, I'm like, buy. I love it all. And so
me too.
if you want to buy ads, that is great. But if you're buying ads, that is not going to affect how your distribution works on your organic posts. So no worries there. I can promise you that is not true.
E agora, algoritmo. Todo mundo quer saber do algoritmo. Tem muito mito sobre algoritmo. Quando você procura sobre algoritmo, cada pessoa fala uma coisa. E a gente quer saber, né, como funciona a distribuição do Instagram, porque tipo, tem muito mito sobre qual interação dentro do Instagram seria a mais importante, né, o que faz, né, uma postagem ter mais entrega. Algumas pessoas acham que é o salvamento que faz aumentar a entrega, outros falam que é o like que faz. Vocês já falaram sobre isso uma vez, em janeiro de 2020, né, lá no Instagram do Creators, né, inclusive, né, sigam o Creators, falei, tem que seguir o Creators porque as informações saem lá. Então, um post oficial do Creators falou, né, que naquela época, pelo menos, né, a ordem do ranqueamento do feed seria primeiro comentários, depois likes, depois os compartilhamentos e depois visualizações. continua sendo assim, porque assim, janeiro de 2020, cara, internet, um ano, as coisas mudam muito, né? Então, queria saber se continua sendo essa ordem, né, de relevância, e se você pode explicar mais no geral, né, como funciona o algoritmo de distribuição e quais interações têm mais peso, se existe isso, né, de ter uma interação ter mais peso que a outra, e o Reels, né, porque o Reels eu acho que é um pouco diferente, que uma vez que tem até uma aba específica no aplicativo só para Reels, e a gente sabe lá que entrega para quem não te segue e tal, então imagina que deve ser um pouco diferente. Então tem uma diferença também no Reels, na distribuição?
Yeah, happy to talk about this. And I think I'll start. I know I keep giving you all history lessons on like what's happened at Instagram, but if you all remember the early days of Instagram, Joao, you were probably on Instagram when it was just photos and the whole feed was in order. And that's how Instagram started. And then more and more people started to join and it got bigger. And in 2016, we did a ranked feed because what we found is that people on average were missing 70% of the things they followed. So by putting in a ranked feed, that really improved things, and people were actually seeing a ton more content. So the algorithm works, and there's different algorithms based on the product feed versus stories versus reels. You brought up reels, so I can talk a little bit about the signals and the things that go into that. What's exciting about reels is it's unconnected, a lot of it. So it's a whole new opportunity on what we're able to surface there. And there are a bunch of signals that going into doing this. You mentioned, we talk about, I think on feed, like comments, likes, all those interactions are important. But the signals we look at with something like Reels are, one, is this something that we think you're going to be interested in based on what you follow, what the people you follow, all that kind of stuff. Because one, it has to be interesting. So that's one signal. Two, we might look at if something's really popular. Like if something's going viral and it's exploding, maybe it's a, dance challenge or a big announcement from a huge creator. And so that could be another signal that could go in there. Then there could be other signals like maybe it's someone you know and you have a mutual follow, or it's a friend or a family member. You're probably going to want to see them do a challenge if they're doing it, right? And then lastly, we'll look at things like your history with that account. Have you spent time on it? Are you liking a lot of their stuff? And that's how these things will get served to you on something like Reels. But this is another great plug for Creator Week, actually, because we're going to have sessions, seriously, just on the algorithm, and you're going to have experts coming in, like the people that build it, that can come and answer all the questions and get as much information out about it as possible.
Bom, gente, então aparentemente a gente não vai saber tudo sobre o algoritmo hoje, porque o Charles está guardando algumas partes aí, o ouro ali para dar no Creators Week, mas eu achei massa a resposta dele, que é muito do que eu acredito também, é muito do que eu penso sobre o algoritmo. Não tenho assim, um grande segredo, inclusive assim, é minha visão pessoal, assim, nem falei nada com o pessoal do Instagram sobre isso, inclusive eu não estou sendo pago, eu estou realmente muito feliz só de estar aqui. O Instagram não pagou nada para estar aqui. Eu estou concordando muito, porque são teclas que eu sempre bati e aí ninguém acreditava em mim. Eu falei, gente, não, eu acho que é assim, né? Eu sempre falava porque eu acho, que eu não tenho certeza, mas é bem interessante ver as respostas diretas do Instagram. Para a gente saber mais, a gente vai ter que ir para a Creators Week. Tô animado para caramba com a Creators Week. E é isso. Muito obrigado pelo seu tempo, Charles. E espero que a gente descubra cada vez mais sobre como o Instagram funciona no Creators Week.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This was so much fun. Next time, first of all, I love doing this kind of stuff, and like myth busting is one of my favorite things. I could talk about it all day. Also, hopefully next time we will all be in person in Brazil, or come to New York. I'm inviting everybody to come to New York City, and we'll be able to hang out in person. Come on up. We'll hang out in person, chat through all these things. And thank you so much for the thoughtful questions. It's really been great to be here, and I hope it's all been helpful. Thanks, everybody.